Hey everyone. Today we're diving into something that I think a lot of us think about, especially as we get a little older, over 40.
Yeah.
Can YouTube really be a way to retire?
I think it's a question a lot of people have,
Yeah.
especially these days.
Definitely, especially these days.
Yeah.
So we're looking at two YouTubers who talk about this.
Okay.
Rob the Maritimer, who is all about the practical side, like how to actually earn money,
Right.
and Kevin Colby, who is more about mindset and shares his own story about being successful on YouTube.
I like that we have two different perspectives.
Yeah, so right away, Rob the Maritimer doesn't try to make it sound easier than it is.
Okay.
He really talks about how different retirement is for us now than it was for, like, our parents.
Right. He makes that comparison.
Yeah, he says, like, back then, one income was enough and people didn't live as long.
And now most people need two incomes.
Yeah, and we're living longer, so we need our retirement savings to last longer, too.
Exactly. And that's where YouTube comes in.
But he says, don't think you're going to get rich just from ads.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
He's monetized, but he's honest, and says AdSense doesn't make him rich.
So just for anyone listening who doesn't know, AdSense is the program that lets YouTubers earn money from ads on their videos.
Right. It's like the basic way to earn money on YouTube.
But what Rob's saying is it's only one part of it, and usually not even the biggest part.
It's not the whole picture.
He actually compares it to a pie chart.
Oh, that's a good visual.
Yeah, he says AdSense is like a tiny sliver of the pie.
It's not enough to rely on just that.
Yeah, and he
Okay.
even says something like relying only on AdSense is like building a house on sand.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good way to put it.
Yeah, so that really emphasizes that you need to look at those other ways to make money.
Definitely. So what are those other options?
Well, he talks about a few of them.
Okay.
First one is affiliate sales.
Ah, yeah, affiliate sales.
So you basically recommend a product, and if someone buys it through your link, you get a commission.
I know a lot of YouTubers who make good money that way.
Oh, yeah, me too, especially people who do, like, tech reviews.
Right, and it doesn't even have to be physical products.
Oh, right, like you could do services, too.
Yeah, Rick talks a lot about Amazon's program. You can recommend anything on there, books, tools, whatever.
It's amazing how much you can find on Amazon these days.
I know, right?
Actually, think about it. Have you ever bought something because you saw it recommended on YouTube?
Oh, yeah, all the time.
That's affiliate marketing, and as a YouTuber, you could be the one recommending those things.
That's a good point. I never thought of it that way.
So we've got affiliate sales, and then he also talks about brand deals.
Brand deals are when a company pays you to feature their product in your video.
Like a shout out or even a whole sponsored video.
Exactly. And those can be way more lucrative than just AdSense, especially as your channel grows.
I think that's a big one that people don't realize, how much YouTubers can earn from brand deals.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think it goes to show that building trust with your audience is so important.
Yeah, people are more likely to check out a brand if they trust the person recommending it.
So it's not just about getting views, it's about having a real connection with your audience.
And being authentic. Companies want to work with creators who are genuine.
And speaking of growing your audience, Rob talks about how much potential there is with YouTube.
Yeah, if you're consistent with your uploads.
Right, he uses this phrase, feeding the machine.
Oh yeah, I've heard him say that. It means the more you upload, the more the algorithm learns about your content.
And it can recommend your videos to the right people.
It's all about building that momentum.
Yeah, the more you create, the more visibility you get.
He tells a story about how he took a break from posting for 13 months.
Wow, over a year.
And his channel kept growing because people were still finding his old videos.
That's amazing. I guess it shows how valuable it is to have a whole library of content.
It highlights the long-term benefits of making good content. Even when you're not actively uploading, it can still bring in new viewers.
So that kind of leads into the idea of passive income.
Passive income is like the dream, right? Earning money while you're doing other things.
That's the goal.
Yeah. And YouTube can definitely be a way to do that.
You put in the work up front to make good videos. And then over time, those videos can keep earning money even when you're not making new ones.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've got AdSense, affiliate sales, brand deals, and being consistent.
But there's one more revenue stream he talks about that's really interesting.
Oh yeah, what's that?
Digital products.
Digital products.
Things like online courses, templates, ebooks, that kind of thing.
Oh, right. So you make it once and then you can sell it over and over again?
Yeah, exactly. No need to worry about inventory or shipping or anything like that.
It's a great way to make passive income.
And you can leverage your expertise. If you're good at something, you can create a course or an ebook about it.
And you're not limited to just selling it on YouTube. You can promote it on your website or social media too.
It opens up a lot of possibilities.
So that's a lot from Rob the Maritimer. But let's switch gears and see what Kevin Colby has to say about all of this.
All right, I'm interested to hear his take.
Well, his story is really interesting because he actually started his YouTube channel at 63 after a traditional career.
Really? Wow, that's inspiring.
I know, right? It shows it's never too late.
Definitely.
He's proof that you can reinvent yourself and find success on YouTube at any age.
It's never too late.
And what's cool about Kevin is he's very straightforward. He calls them his real talk points.
Okay, what are some of his real talk points?
Well, one of the first things he says is you just have to show up.
Just start.
Yeah. Don't let fear stop you. Don't worry about everything being perfect before you even begin.
That's so important. I think a lot of people get stuck in that planning phase.
I know, they think they need the perfect camera or the perfect script.
Or the perfect editing.
But Kevin's saying just hit record and get your content out there.
That's a good point. Sometimes you just need to start.
And he also says it's okay to change things up as you go.
So be flexible. Don't be afraid to experiment.
He actually said he started with really scripted and polished videos.
Oh, wow.
But he found more success when he relaxed and let his personality show.
That makes sense. People connect with authenticity.
He has this quote that I love. He says, "The world doesn't need another perfectly polished talking head."
That's so true.
He says it needs your unique voice, your experiences, your perspective.
I think that's a really powerful message.
Yeah, and he goes on to say it's okay to be imperfect.
We're all human.
No one's perfect, and those imperfections are often what make us relatable.
It's what makes us real.
Especially for those of us over 40. We've lived, we've learned, we have stories to tell.
That's a good point. Our experiences are valuable.
And then I think his most important piece of advice is just to start.
Just take that first step.
Create that first video and get the ball rolling.
It goes back to what Rob said about starting YouTube before you need to.
It's all about taking action.
They both emphasize that YouTube isn't a get-rich-quick scheme.
It takes time and effort, and you have to treat it like a business.
But at the same time, it should be enjoyable.
Rob makes that point too. He says treat it like a hobby first, something you're passionate about.
Because if you're not having fun, it's going to show.
And it's going to be harder to stay consistent.
It's all about finding that balance between working hard and enjoying the process.
Okay, so we've covered the mindset, the different ways to make money, being consistent, having fun.
What about the actual process of creating content?
What does Rob say about that?
Yeah, how do you actually make those videos? Well, one thing he really emphasizes is that you don't need a fancy studio or anything.
Oh, that's good to know.
He actually encourages keeping it simple, especially when you're first starting out.
So, like, you don't need to buy an expensive camera right away.
No, not at all. He says most smartphones these days can record really good video.
That's true. The cameras on phones are pretty amazing now.
And he even gives tips on using natural light to make your videos look better.
So you don't necessarily need to buy a bunch of lighting equipment either.
Nope, he's all about making it accessible for everyone, even if you don't have a big budget.
That's great because I think that's one thing that holds people back. They think they need to spend a lot of money to get started.
Yeah, definitely. And he even talks about free or low-cost editing software.
Oh, that's helpful. I know editing can seem intimidating to people.
For sure. But there are some great options out there that don't cost a fortune.
So, okay, you've got your smartphone, you filmed your video, you edited it, now what?
Well, now it's time to think about how to get people to actually see your video.
Right, because just uploading it isn't enough.
No, you need to optimize it for the YouTube algorithm.
The algorithm, that mysterious thing.
It's like the secret code that decides which videos get shown to people.
And how do you crack the code?
Well, Rob gives some good tips on how to work with the algorithm, not against it.
Okay, like what kind of tips?
Well, he talks a lot about keywords, descriptions, and tags.
So basically telling YouTube what your video is about.
Exactly. So the algorithm can understand your content and show it to the right people.
It's like you're speaking the algorithm's language.
Yeah, and then he also talks about the importance of the thumbnail and title.
Those are crucial. That's what people see first.
It's your first impression.
You got to make it eye-catching so people will want to click on your video.
He uses this phrase, stop the scroll.
Stop the scroll. I like that.
Your thumbnail has to be interesting enough to make someone stop scrolling and check out your video.
It's a tough competition out there. So much content to choose from.
Exactly. So you have to make your video stand out.
Okay, so you get people to click on your video. Now, how do you keep them watching?
That's all about retention rate, how long people are actually watching your video.
I've heard that's a big factor for the algorithm.
Oh yeah, YouTube wants to see that people are finding your content engaging.
So if people are clicking away after a few seconds, that's not a good sign.
Not really. Rob has this analogy about a dinner party.
Okay, a dinner party, how does that relate to YouTube?
He says, Think of yourself as a host. You want your guests to stay and have a good time.
You don't want them leaving early because they're bored.
Exactly. So you need to make sure your video is interesting and well-paced.
You need to deliver on what you promised in the title and thumbnail.
And keep people engaged throughout the video.
So structure is important, how you organize your content.
Yeah. And pacing. You don't want it to be too slow or too fast.
And you have to provide value, something that people will find useful or entertaining.
Rob's a big believer in giving away your best stuff for free.
Really? Why would you give away your best content for free?
Well, he says it builds trust with your audience.
So they'll be more likely to buy from you later?
Exactly. If you show them you know what you're talking about, they'll be more likely to invest in your paid products or services.
Well, that's like a long-term strategy.
Yeah, you're building a relationship with your viewers.
And it goes back to those alternative revenue streams we talked about earlier.
If people trust you, they're more likely to buy through your affiliate links or check out your digital products.
It all connects.
It all works together.
You know, one thing that really resonated with me from Rob was his message about finding your niche.
Oh yeah, he's really passionate about that.
He believes that everyone has a potential audience out there.
He says everyone has something unique to share.
He doesn't want people to underestimate the value of their own experiences and knowledge.
Even if you don't think you're an expert on something, you probably know more than someone who's just starting out.
And he talks about how to overcome imposter syndrome.
That feeling that you're not good enough or you don't have anything valuable to offer.
It's a common feeling, especially when you're trying something new.
But Rob encourages people to push past those doubts.
He says you don't have to be perfect. You just have to be willing to share your unique perspective.
And he gives examples of all these different creators who found success in all sorts of niches.
Like what kind of niches?
Oh, everything. From beekeeping to knitting to vintage video game collecting.
That's cool. It shows there's an audience for everything.
And it's never too late to start, no matter what your age.
That brings us back to Kevin Colby, who started his YouTube journey at 63.
He's a great example of that. Age is not a barrier.
He found his niche, his voice, his community.
And he's proving that it's never too late to pursue your passions.
So we've heard from two different YouTubers about how to use the platform to potentially retire.
What do you think?
I think it's really inspiring. It opens up a lot of possibilities.
Yeah, it's definitely something to think about.
It makes you wonder what we could be doing with YouTube.
What kind of content could we create?
What passions or skills do we have that we could share with the world?
You know, it's interesting how both Rob and Kevin, they kind of challenge the way we think about retirement.
Yeah.
It's not just about money.
Right.
It's about finding something you enjoy, doing something that gives you purpose.
Yeah, I think that's something a lot of people are looking for these days.
Definitely.
Like retirement doesn't have to mean slowing down.
Right.
It can be about starting something new, trying new things.
Exploring new avenues. And I think both of them really emphasize the importance of mindset.
Oh, yeah. Mindset is huge.
It's not just about the technical stuff. It's about having the right attitude.
Being willing to put yourself out there.
That just start mentality.
It's so important.
It's easy to get caught up in planning and overthinking.
I know. I do that all the time.
But sometimes you just have to take action.
Even if it's not perfect.
Exactly. And Kevin is a great example of that, starting a YouTube channel at 63.
That's so inspiring.
It makes you think, what's holding us back?
What are we afraid of?
What limiting beliefs do we have?
That's a good question.
And I think it shows that YouTube can be more than just entertainment.
Right.
It can be a way to learn and grow.
No matter how old you are.
Exactly.
And going back to what Rob said about finding your niche.
Yeah?
It's amazing how YouTube can connect you with people who share your interests.
It's like building your own little community.
Yeah.
A place where you can share your passions and learn from others.
And maybe even make some money along the way.
Right, we talked about all the different ways you can monetize your channel.
Ads, affiliate marketing, brand deals, digital products.
There are so many options.
It's exciting to think that you could turn a hobby into something that actually makes you money.
Especially later in life.
When you might be looking for something new to focus on.
It's all about being creative and finding what works for you.
So as we wrap up this deep dive,
Yeah?
I'm feeling pretty inspired.
Me too.
It's amazing what you can do with YouTube.
It's not just for kids or entertainers
Anyone can use it.
to share their knowledge, connect with people, maybe even earn a living.
And it's accessible to everyone.
You just need a smartphone and an internet connection
And the willingness to try something new.
to put yourself out there.
Maybe the next YouTube success story is listening right now.
That would be awesome.
So if you're feeling inspired, take that inspiration and do something with it.
What's one small step you can take today?
What story are you waiting to share?
That's a great question.
And that's our deep dive for today.
Thanks for joining us.
Keep those minds curious, and we'll catch you on the next one.